Hey, our city, welcome back again to our series of talks about the home. It is the most important place that we come from, go to every day. And so every year we take a minute and spend some time just thinking about how could we learn about the home we came from, and also grow ourselves so that the home that we one day build, or you're already building right now, could be the best experience possible. Today is going to be another just installment of our talks about that, and I'm super excited about it. If you have a Bible, I want to invite you to open it up to John chapter 11. We're going to look at a story there about how Jesus manages just this really unique situation. Last week, if you didn't get a chance to watch it, you could go to our YouTube channel or to our Facebook page. You could go watch our week. Last week was about conflict, and in this quarantine season, lots of conflict because we're in such closer proximity to everyone. So I really think that will encourage you and be awesome. Thank you to all of you who interacted on social media and also sent us Facebook messages, Instagram messages, emails, texts, just letting us know that these things are really helping you. That's a huge encouragement to me and to our team. We listen to those, we read those, we encourage each other with those. So I want to say thank you for that. If you invited someone today, or if you're new right now, I want to say welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And I just want to say that someone who invited you really cares about your life. And I hope that today is really going to be life-giving for you. And you don't need to believe what we believe to belong here at our city church. We want you to learn what we believe about God and Jesus and the Bible, but you don't need to be where we're at with our belief. Come with where you're at and have an open heart and an open mind, and hopefully God's truth and His wisdom will encourage you, inspire you, challenge you a little bit too, and help you to be able to have the type of home that He has always intended for you to have. Today I want to talk about a message. My title of my message today is I'm about to lose my mind, okay? Because we all have those moments where we're just losing our mind, and you're just like on edge, or you're in an argument and it's just like it's coming out, and stuff that comes out in those moments are often the worst parts of us, the parts that we're like most embarrassed about, we have to apologize for later. Some of us aren't really good at apologizing later. We just kind of like hope we get through it. I want to talk about the different ways that we manage that, but I really want to help you learn how to deal with emotions that you have and emotions other people have when they are just losing it, man. And it's hard and it's difficult. It can be really, really, really sad, really, really, really angry. All these other different emotions can be real powerful. How do we deal with those types of moments? And I want to talk about that today, because all of us have that. We all have moments where it's like, dude, the worst parts of me are bubbling up and the volcano is ready to explode, and the emotions just take over your mind, and your mind becomes almost like a prisoner to this way of thinking and being and acting. And then if you're a parent, this stuff gets into your kids, and now all of a sudden you start watching them act out the worst parts of how you emotionally respond in moments. You're like, no, don't act like that, don't be like that. And it's like, well, and you know this if you're a parent, the kids don't become what you say, they become who you are and what you do. So what you do, no matter what you say, hey, this is the right thing to say and this is how you should, it doesn't matter what you tell them how they should be, it's what you are doing that they're going to pick up. And I want to talk about how do we course correct some of that stuff, and how do you look in that. But not just that, look, if you don't have kids, don't tune this out. Here's why. I want you to learn how to help yourself in moments where maybe your parents didn't give you the type of training or tools emotionally to be able to manage like losing your stuff, dude. And I want to help you with that. And I think Jesus wants to help you today. So lean in, open your mind, open your heart. And I think Jesus is going to help us. For me, there's moments as a dad. She's 4.5. She wants you to know about that half, by the way. Hi, honey, if you're watching, by the way. Mwah, I love you. Te quiero mucho. And so there's parts of me that sometimes realize that Eliana knows the best parts of me because I want to preserve and protect her experience from the worst parts of me. So even if I stub my toe or accidentally bump my elbow, how I would be if I knew she wasn't watching versus knowing she is watching, they're different. They're different people. So there's moments in my life where I realize I don't know if my daughter's even really met me. She doesn't know all of me yet. She knows the best parts, my curated parts, but there's these other aspects of my sinful nature that I hope she'll never meet, and I hope by the time that she would have met it, God will help me hopefully grow out of some of those unhealthy aspects. But the reality is, that she's already seen some of it more than I wish, and now I have to figure out, like, how can I course correct that, right, as a dad? For those of us that maybe don't have kids, and even for me, it's like I only have one child, right? So like everyone else in my life still has to interact with that side of me. How do we help those around us be able to encounter a better you, like the you that you want them to experience? And I think today is going to help us all do that. And so Jesus actually dealt with a level of emotions that people were having about a really tough and difficult situation. And I want you to hear how he responds and the order in which he responds. And then I believe there's some practical tools that we can take away from that. So real quick, everybody say there and then. You can type that in if you're in the chat too. There and then, say it out loud. If you're new around here, every week we preach and share and talk from this perspective called there and then. For us, it means I want you to know what was happening there and then in the Bible story before we talk about the here and now in your life. And so there and then, John is writing about Jesus' life and his comings and goings and what he's doing. And at this point, one of the people he really, really loves, has a close personal relationship with, is a dude named Lazarus, okay? And he knows Lazarus' sister, Mary, Martha, like they're all family. And he's been sick. And he's getting ready to die. In fact, so much so that like they are talking to Jesus days before he gets to Lazarus, saying, you got to help him, he's sick. And he's telling him, look, have faith. There's a bigger plan. Like God, like I want you to know that. And so there's this back and forth dialogue kind of happening where it almost seems like Jesus is dragging his feet getting there, right? But here's the unique part, and I love this story, and looking at it brand new this last week, I looked into it and I thought, man, this is what we have to learn to do. And I want to catch you up into the story because we now are going to come into the part of the story where he has already died now, okay? So they went and said, they were like, doing what we've done. We pray, God, please help. This is what's going on. And now he's dead. So now the grief emotions are all there. And there's this regret that like God didn't reverse the sickness, didn't change the plan. Like the brokenness of earth impacted even people who knew Jesus. And I think there's principles there that we have to embrace. We have to recognize that our belief in Jesus doesn't save us from the brokenness of this world. It saves us from the brokenness of our sin. It saves us from the brokenness within us, that we have an advocate, that we could be forgiven, that we can have right relationship with God, that we could have wisdom to navigate all the hurtful, hard, difficult, traumatic, painful, disappointing moments in life. And so that's what we kind of learn here is like they knew Jesus well, and yet he still is sick, and then he dies. So now I want to zoom in on the story and see how Jesus emotionally manages their emotions and his own emotions. And then I want to talk about some of the practical ways that we could do that, and we'll do that. In verse 32, chapter 11 of John, verse 32, this is what it says. It says, when Mary reached the place where Jesus was and saw him, she fell at his feet and said, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. Here, Mary communicates something on behalf of her brother that a lot of us have felt at times. God, if you would have done this, then this wouldn't be this way. I wouldn't have this pain if it wasn't for this. God, how come you didn't stop him from acting and being like this? God, how come you didn't stop her from being like this to us? How come you didn't keep them from getting hurt? How come you didn't intervene? How come it still went this way? She's communicating to Jesus the very same stuff all of us have felt and asked and wanted to know about. And in there is this really cool, healthy teaching we're going to get from Jesus. So my brother would not have died, Jesus. Basically, if you'd have got here in time, you drug your feet, why did you not get here in time? And Jesus, it says this in verse 33, when Jesus saw her weeping and the Jews who had come along with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in spirit and troubled. He was so sad. He connected to their pain. Now, here's what you have to remember. For the last whole chapter, the last 3-4 days, Martha and the people around her talking to Jesus, Jesus has said to them, look, I'm telling you, I'm the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me will live, even though they die, and whoever lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this? Asks Martha that. She thinks, she thinks he's talking about the one-day resurrection after the end of days, when those of us who believe in Jesus will live for eternity with him. That's what she thinks he's talking about. But he's actually trying to tell her, look, I'm literally going to reverse the sickness and the death of what's happening with Lazarus. But she's not tuned into that because, I don't know, that's happened like 0 times in anyone's life. So there's no reason for her to have thought that, and yet that's what he has said. So Jesus has already said, I'm going to do something about this, and yet still, when he comes upon their pain, he comes upon their emotion, he doesn't just get around to where he's headed. He goes through the circumstance with them. So what we learn about Jesus is that Jesus is a God that goes through pain with us. He knows, in 5 years you're going to be better. In 3 years you're going to be better. In 6 months you're going to be better. In 6 weeks you're going to be better. But just because I know that you and I are going to get through this in 6 months, it doesn't mean like, you just need to be there. He's like, well, you're here, and I am God with you. That's what the word Emmanuel means. Many of you Bible readers know that, but those of you that are new to the Bible, God is called Emmanuel, which means in Hebrew, God with us. The God of the universe came to be with humanity. He is God with us. That means he's with us in our pain. He's with us in our sorrow. He's with us in our irritability. He's with us in our hurt, in our shame, in our guilt. He's with us in all that, and then wants to redeem and heal and forgive and restore and correct and repair all of those things and teach us then a better way to manage our emotions and other people's emotions. And now we see him do that. Watch this. He says, where have you laid him? He asks, verse 34. And they say, come and see, Lord. It's kind of an interesting thing. He's basically saying, I want to see, like, where is the root of your pain? Like, what's going on? Where is he? And he goes, and then we have the shortest verse in all of the Bible, John 11:35. It says this, Jesus wept. 2 words, but it means so much. Jesus wept. Jesus is crying. He is connecting. He is available emotionally. He gets into the situation with them, even though in moments to come, he is literally going to call Lazarus out of the grave, back to life from the dead. But yet he's crying about it. I think he connects to us, and there's a few things he's communicating. Hey, I want you to see that I'm God, and I'm the perfect Christian. I'm Jesus. I'm the model of how to live in every situation. And when you're sad, it's okay to cry. When you're upset, it's okay to be upset. There is a healthy expression of emotion, even if you know you're going to come out of it. Even if you know after your good cry, or you just kind of like shedding some tears, or expressing some of your disappointment, you're going to not feel that way. He's okay with us feeling those things. He's in touch with his emotions. He's in tune with them. He's not erratic. He's not blowing up Martha or Mary. Well, why are you blaming me? He's not defensive. He's not acting out of all this brokenness, because he's perfectly healthy in his emotional expressions. And then he shows us how to do it. Verse 36, then the Jews said, see how much he loved him. I mean, they're watching Jesus really be in tune emotionally with the experience of Mary over her lost brother. Verse 37, but some of them said, could not the man who opened the eyes of the blind have kept this man from dying? So they're questioning and challenging him. So even in the midst of his super vulnerable emotional experience, he's still being criticized. I bet some of you know what that's like. I bet some of you know what it's like to try to do work, right? Maybe some of you starting a counselor. Maybe some of you have started to really work on the way that you emotionally react and respond. You're trying to be more Christ-like and honoring of God's ways and the way that you treat yourself and you treat other people. And then even in the midst of that vulnerability, sometimes you still feel like you either can't get it right or other people won't let you get it right because your one little mistake versus all your effort is all of a sudden just made the most of. And you're like, man, what about the 10 good things I've done when I managed it well? And yeah, that's a setback, that's not good. And it's like, they're criticizing Jesus in his vulnerable place. Well, you healed a blind guy, you can't keep the guy from dying. What's up, Jesus? Where's your power? How come you did it for them? You can't do it for them. There's all this criticism and coming his way. And Jesus he's being attacked by that. But this is where it gets really cool. Jesus, once more deeply moved, came to the tomb. It was a cave with a stone laid away at the entrance. And he said this, take away the stone. But Martha, the sister of the dead man, by this time, she goes, but Lord, by this time there's a bad odor. He's been in there 4 days, so the body's decomposing. It's going to reek. And then Jesus said, did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God? You will see not the glory of man, not a really cool game-ending home run, not a walk-off home run, not a game-winning shot, not like a perfect 10 gymnastics or a skating event at the Olympics, not the majesty of mankind, not the like performance of performances, not like a perfect game of shooting or a perfect game of baseball pitching. Like, no, not the glory of man. You're about to see the glory of God. That is an entirely different experience. And he's inviting them to look at it. And he says, didn't I tell you if you believed, you'd see that? And I want to tell some of you that now. Believe. If you believe in Jesus, you will see the glory of God in your life. You will see him show up and do things. Of course, he doesn't raise everyone from the dead. Of course, I have never seen that happen. But I still get to see the glimpses of God's glory because I believe and I put my trust in him instead of my own humanity. I trust him and his power to do things that are beyond my realm. And I see him do that in my life. And these are the things that he's inviting you to put your trust in him for. And then he says, he says, take away the stone. So they took away the stone. And then Jesus looked up and said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I knew that you always hear me, but I said this for the benefit of the people standing here, that they may believe that you sent me. Jesus is always thinking about people who don't believe in him yet as Savior. And Christian friends, this is for you who believe in Jesus. We have to be like Jesus. We have to always have a posture of making sure that the way we conduct ourselves and the way that we live is always taking into an account who doesn't believe in Jesus yet, who don't know that they are loved and they are forgiven and that they have access to God, that God wants to redeem all the broken choices. God wants to redeem all the broken actions and things that happen. God wants to restore them to right relationship with him through his son, Jesus. We have to, as Christians, always be as Jesus was, thinking about those who don't yet understand or don't yet believe fully in Jesus. We never at our city church want to be the kind of church that is just thinking about Christians. We never just want to think about people who share our beliefs. That's not what Jesus did. Jesus isn't just thinking about people who believe in him already. He is sitting there saying, look, I'm literally praying this prayer and saying this prayer, not because I need it. I don't need it. I'm good. I know what you're going to do. I know what I'm going to do. No. I'm doing this right here. So those who don't yet believe, those who don't understand, can watch and see the glory of God and go, oh my gosh, okay, cool. We have to always have in our heart a space for those who do not yet believe what we believe. And as a church, we will always make sure that that is a big part of what we do because that's what our Savior did. When he had said this, verse 43, Jesus called out in a loud voice, Lazarus, come out. And the dead man came out, his hands and feet wrapped with strips of linen and a cloth around his face. Jesus does powerful demonstrations, right? He demonstrates powerful moves, and he even fixes everything. But he doesn't start there. He doesn't start by trying to solve the problem because Jesus cares about people's emotions and hearts and lives, and he prioritizes that first. Before he raises Lazarus from the dead, he makes sure Martha and Mary know that they have a Savior who emotionally connects and is available to be there with them. And this is vital for us because a lot of us haven't been taught how to properly manage other people's erratic or even just normal emotions. And emotions are scary for some of us because we don't know, because we weren't taught and we haven't learned properly how to manage emotions from other people. Some people don't know how to manage their emotions very well. So when they begin to go Mount Volcano crazy, we are like, whoa, this is lava. I could deal with emotions. I could deal with the ocean shore, big waves. We can do that. Volcano lava can't because I'm not really resistant to lava. It burns and hurts me, right? So there's this resistance to that level of the way people can be. And that's all normal and natural and actually healthy to have those boundaries. But here Jesus shows us, here's the best way, here's the right way. Because in the end, here's what Jesus knew. He knew he was going to get them to the end of the lesson. He knew they were going to see the glory of God, see Lazarus live and go, oh, if I trust in you, I'll see the glory of God. And whatever I go through, you'll take me through and get me through it on the other end. It may not always be a risen life, but at least I know whatever the death is, whatever the pain is, whatever the disappointment is, whatever the hurt is, Jesus, it's you that will walk me through. It's you that will get me through. It's you who will speak me through, and you'll do it by also connecting with me emotionally. That's what Jesus is modeling. And all good coaches, all good parents, all good teachers, all good bosses, they know this. You don't ever want to just rush to the end of the lesson just because you know like what it is. You have a child, you have someone learning the lesson. You have to let them walk through the lesson too so they own it for themselves. This is important. Great coaches know this. Great moms, great dads, great grandparents, they all, not great grandparents and good grandparents, grandparents and great grandparents, you understand? So these are the things that all of those that help train and raise up the next generation of people who need to learn, or even just the next employee. You don't want to just tell them how at the end. You want to ask questions. What do you think? Do you see this? Hey, this is what I want you to understand. Hey, tell me how you interact with that. And this is why it's super important, because if we don't know how to do this, I mean, what if Jesus, when he would have showed up, what are you guys all crying for? Why don't you have faith? Didn't I tell you what I was going to do? I told you I was going to show you the glory of God. Didn't I tell you that we were going to see I'm the resurrection and the life? Well, I don't see what the big deal is. Why are you guys crying? Why are you so upset? Why are you such a baby? How come, you know what? Or did he show up and was just muted, just all man, this is super uncomfortable. Man, there's a lot going on here. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, everyone's just sitting around crying and just is stoic and all quote, strong because he doesn't demonstrate emotions? No, because that's not really strong. Not showing emotion isn't strong. It's actually weak. Strong is doing what most can't do. Most of you cannot bench press 500 pounds. The one who can is stronger than the one who cannot. The end. Guess what? Most people don't do a good job of properly expressing emotion. That means that the one who can properly express emotion is the one who actually is stronger and lifting the 500 pounds. We have to learn to do this no matter how hard it was. Why? Because you want you to have a better experience with God and with those around you, but you want those around you, especially if you're a parent, you want those coming up underneath you to have a better experience and have healthy skills. So I want to dedicate the rest of this time to walking through 4 different types of approaches normally to managing emotions. Okay, 3 of them are unhealthy, and 1 of them I believe is healthy, and it's what Jesus did. So how do we take this home in the here and now? That's the there and then. That's what Jesus did. That's how he modeled that. He was there. He was available. He was present. He soothed them. He let them know he was present. He was connected to their emotion. He even felt their emotion. He even cried with them, expressed his own emotion, didn't hold it back, but then he also got involved in the problem-solving process. Okay, that's the plan of Jesus. How could we take that and look honestly at ourselves and see what we do? And here's one of the first 3 ways that many of us deal often with emotions in ourselves. By the way, even if you're not a parent, you got to learn how to parent yourself. You got to learn how to talk to the you inside. I've got to learn how sometimes to help get myself on the inside being okay. And sometimes we could do these things not just to the kids around us, but we do it to the kid inside of us. We do this to the parts of us that are still hurt or confused or searching for a better way to handle our emotions, so that when we're losing our mind, we could have a better way to regulate ourselves, to ground ourselves, to stabilize ourselves, because we've learned from how Jesus did it. So this is what Jesus did. This is what I think Jesus wants us to do. But here's all too often how I or you, not or and you, this is how we do this. And I definitely do one of these next 3 more than the others. See if you can find yourself in one of these 3. First one is to dismiss. So emotions are to be dismissed because they're uncomfortable, right? And so the one who dismisses emotions. Now, if you're a parent, sometimes this is the way you do it. You dismiss emotions to your kids. And you do this, you disengage, we ridicule emotions, or we curb all difficult emotions. Any difficult emotions is just cut off, curb, dismiss, because there's a fear of feeling out of control, right? Oh my God, I'm going to cry, or I'm going to go to, I'd say there's this fear of just emotions are scary, they're overwhelming, they're almost more powerful than me, so I need to dismiss them. I need to do some type of a distraction technique to try to get these emotions out of here. People who do this, they feel like emotions are either toxic or just unhealthy just because they're emotions. They use this is key. People who do use dismissing as emotions, they use the passage of time, watch this, as a cure-all replacement for problem solving. Wow. A cure-all for problem solving is the passage of time. Oh, just let time pass and then everything will be better. We don't need to problem solve. We don't need to communicate our emotions. We don't need to learn how to verbalize things and to like be honest or to own and apologize for when we were super out of control. We don't need to learn any of those skills. Just let time pass by. That's someone who functions in a dismissive way towards emotions. Now, here's the effect it has, especially on children. If you're a parent, if you function this way towards your kids, the children or the others in your life, but children for this one if you're a parent, they will learn that there's something wrong with them and they can't regulate their own emotions. Their emotions are just like all out of control because they don't know how to do anything because the person in front of them teaching them just dismisses it, just shuts it down, does all these distraction techniques, or just lets time do the problem solving. So they have no problem solving skills because they're not taught any and they don't get any modeled for them. Not only that, but they feel like something is wrong with them, or they feel like something is that their feelings are not appropriate. They feel like their feelings are not right, or that their feelings are just abnormal. So feelings start to have this like almost like enemy feel, like, ooh, bad. Inappropriate to feel, unhealthy to feel, abnormal to feel, like it's not right to feel. And the kids pick that stuff up. Maybe that's you. You might have learned that. It's not too late. You can change this. You can parent or help or love or let Jesus help you take care and heal yourself. Here's an example of what that sounds like. This is what might be said, or you might have said, or you might have heard someone say this to you growing up. You're okay. You'll be fine. You probably won't even care tomorrow. It's just like this dismissing of emotions instead of embracing them and dealing with them. Here's the second one. Okay, that's the first one. I don't know if that's you, but this one could be you. The second one is disapproving. So this is similar as a dismissing person does, or a dismissing parent, or dismissing boss, or dismissing boyfriend, or dismissing girlfriend or husband or wife, or mom or dad. But it's a little more negative in the disapproving versus dismissing. So the disapproving is similar to the dismissive one, but way more negative, way more judgmental and critical, more controlling, more manipulative, more authoritative, overly concerned with discipline. Okay, overly concerned with discipline. Like, I've got to make sure you always follow the rules. And it's like the approach is just more about that than it is about teaching or coaching or helping them learn the lesson. It's strangely like unconcerned with anything that the child is expressing or going through or needing help with. It's just like, that's not the point. The point isn't helping the child process emotions. It's getting the child to line up with the emotions they would feel more comfortable with the child expressing. And it's just like, you need to get there because that's what's most comfortable for me. And it's any tactic is what they use to try to like, how do I get you to not be like this? I'm going to show you I'm disapproving of your emotions. And it's probably not intentional, but it does show up. What the effect of this is on people around you, your employees or your kids, they're very similar, but the children are shamed for their emotions, and yet they still have them, which leads to a ton of confusion of how to deal with these emotions. They are unable to properly express emotions. They don't have any adult anchors or models in their life that they can learn from, and so they adapt by either matching the outbursts of the adult model they're watching, or they learn to shut down, or a distraction technique. I'll be the class clown. I'll get way better grades than everyone else. I'll overindulge myself in something to get the emotional need I have because I can't get it in a healthy way. So they have this like overgrown, unhealthy way of getting the need met, and that's going to be a lifelong battle because it's out of balance. An example of this could be, hey, stop crying. Don't be such a baby. It's no big deal. Why are you crying? Like, stop. Like, that is a dismissive parent. The third one is, and then I want to express the healthy one. Here's the third one: the go with the flow, kind of like laissez-faire, like type of person, emotionally speaking, or even again, it could be a parent, a coach, teacher, boss. This one is endlessly permissive. Okay. They offer little to no guidance about problem solving or understanding emotions. Like, they just don't offer guidance. They're not really trying to show you how to understand emotions. They don't work on problem solving. It's just like they just kind of let it all be what will be. It's like, hey, whatever's whatever. It's like, all just, yeah, hey, feel it, express it, do it. They don't set limits on behaviors. And they encourage just like writing it out, right? Like, hey, let's just write out the emotions until they are out of the way and out of sight, okay? Out of the way, out of sight. Once the emotions are out of the way and out of sight, we've written it out. That's cool. That's like the goal for them. The effects on this, though, is that kids who learn in this type of place, they can't concentrate. They can't get along with others. and they don't form relationships very well, and they can't regulate their own emotions in a healthy way. An example of this would just be like, okay, go ahead, just cry it out, or they're just expressing themselves, and there's never a limit on the behavior or a coaching of how to properly process that. Here's the one that's healthy, though. The one that is healthy is a coaching, like an emotional coaching approach. So emotional coaching would be a person who values difficult emotions. Okay, the nuance of difficult emotions is valued, not feared, not intimidated, not uncertain, not like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, I'm out of control. But like, no, I actually welcome and value and embrace difficult emotions. Watch this. They are not impatient with the people around them, especially the children around them. They're not impatient with a child's expression of nuance or difficult emotions, and they use emotional experience as an opportunity for bonding by offering guidance and offering the ability to label the emotions, especially with a child. And you even have to do this sometimes with adults, like with your spouse, with your family. It's like, hey, I got to help you. Let's label what these emotions are. It's okay that you feel them. I want to walk with you through this, but let's talk through it. And you bond by offering guidance, you bond by labeling the emotions, and you bond by problem solving the issue at hand together. So it's not just like, go figure it out. I don't want to be a part of that. That's so uncomfortable. Or, why are you feeling that? Stop being a baby. But it's like, no, I welcome that. I value that. And I'm available to help you figure out your way and tool through it, process it, label it, and let's problem solve it. What can we do together? This is what Jesus modeled. The effect on the people around you is massive, especially kids. What you will have an effect become is that a child will have a mastery of understanding, and they will have a mastery of regulating their emotions, and it will help them succeed at life like in a ton of different ways. There's so many different ways. They'll stand to become more self-confident. They're going to perform better in social situations, academic situations, and even be able to be more physically healthy. Because this is the stats, this is the research, this is what the foremost experts of stuff out there, this is a combination of all stuff we see in Scripture, we see in our current social scientists these days, the people that study families, children, parents, relationships nonstop. I mean, this is what we've all seen. And what's cool is that the Bible was modeling it 2,000 years before we had social scientists writing it down, probing it, testing us, and giving us the results. That's what I love about Scripture, and that's what I want us to learn how to do. I want us to learn how to do the emotional coaching. Now, there's two people in our lives we've got to learn how to coach. We've got to learn how to coach us first and foremost. When you start losing your mind, you start losing your stuff, dude, and it's starting to get away from you. Some of you are dismissive towards your own emotions. I shouldn't feel this. I need to get rid of this. Or you're the kind of person that's disapproving, or it's like, dude, you're dumb. Like, you're sure stupid. You're so weak. You're so this. Why are you? And you talk to yourself like that, which is why you end up talking to everybody else like that. And I'm a chief culprit of this. And some of us, we just kind of like also we're the go with the flow emotions. It's like, hey, I feel them, I should express them. And there's like no rein on that. There's no like reins to the horse. It's just like wild and out of control. Just let it be what it is. And our culture has kind of like thrown gas on that fire of just like, let it all be what it all is. And Jesus offers a better way. No. Let's label them. Let's be there for each other. Let me cry with you. Let me be there with you. So how do we actually do this stuff? I think that we have to go through and find a way to value difficult emotions first and foremost. You got to value those things. And you have to then communicate care and soothing. That's so important. Hey, I want you to know. This is what it sounds like. I want you to know I hear you. This is what it really kind of sounds like. It seems like you're really upset. You write this down, type that, hey, it seems like you're upset. It seems like this is really hard for you. It sounds like you're having a hard time with this right now. Can you tell me more about that? That's one, and part one, part two. Hey, it sounds like you're having a really tough day, or this sounds like this is really difficult on you. You seem really upset about this. Can you tell me more about what's going on? Now, you don't want that person to have a free rein to just start blowing you up and labeling you. You want them to label their emotions, not a person. Okay, this is key. If you're the person that gets the green light, you get the talking stick. You don't want to start labeling, well, you don't want to do that. That's unhealthy. What you want to do is start labeling your emotions. I am feeling this. I'm feeling disappointed, embarrassed, dumb, overwhelmed, out of shape. I'm just feeling like all these things. That's healthy. Now you're labeling the emotion, and if you can use someone in your life to be an anchor for you, you can process through that. But here's what it sounds like. Look, it sounds like you're really upset. It sounds like this is hard. Can you tell me more about it? And then this, I'm so sorry that you're feeling those things. I'm so sorry that this is your experience. I love you. I care about you. And I want to work with you on this. What do you think a good solution would be? Now, you could do this. And listen, if you're a parent, you need to literally rewind what I just said, go back, see you later, have a great weekend. Make sure you listen to what Pastor Jesse's going to say here in about a minute and a half, but because he's got some important stuff for our church to hear. But listen, go back, re-listen to that, and take those notes and start doing that. If you're a parent, start doing this last 5 minutes like tomorrow, today, and go back in and reprioritize emotions in a different way and follow these step-by-steps. And here's the last two things that you say to them. You say, hey, what do you think a good solution would be? And listen, okay, cool, what do you think of this? And then you add to it some of your own thoughts and guidance and direction and say, hey, let's work on that together. That will help you develop the teenagers, the children, the toddlers in your life to know other level that you could get to outside of God's wisdom. Of course, I think that this could be applied in marriages. I think it could be applied in all other spaces, and I want to invite you to do just that. Let me pray for you today. No matter where you are watching this, around the world, around the nation, around California or Southern California, I want God to help me and you be able to live this stuff out. Let's invite His Holy Spirit to empower us to do that. Would you bow your head and close your eyes with me? Father in heaven, I invite you by the power of the Holy Spirit to help us be as Christ was, to be present emotionally, to value difficult emotions, to be able to have nuanced conversations about emotions that are different. God, to not be dismissive or disapproving or just kind of whatever, go with the flow and have no limits on emotional behavior, but to learn, God, how to be able to center ourselves in your peace, in your strength, in your power, in your glory. We need you to do that. We can't do it without you. In fact, we mess it up every day. But God, we want to get better at this. We want to raise ourselves to be better. Some of us, God, we're already adults. We're already been raised. But it's time for us to raise ourselves in a better way. Help us to do that by practicing a better way of dealing with these emotions and to do it as you did it, Jesus. God, I ask for parents right now that you would give us the wisdom to be able to value these things that are unique and difficult, to help offer guidance, to label them, and to say, hey, I love you. Tell me more about what you're feeling. I'm so sorry you're feeling that way. God, these are the steps, literally, that can change lives. These kids, these friends, these coworkers, these employees, God, our spouses, Lord, literally, it will transform the trajectory of what those things look like if we could apply the wisdom of your word. Help us to do that, and I ask this in Jesus' mighty name. Jesus' mighty name. Hey, would you stay tuned? Pastor Jesse's going to share a couple things about what's going on in our church that I want you to hear. Other than that, we continue our series of talks on home next week. I cannot wait to share with you what God's laid on our heart at our city church. Love you so much. Thanks for helping us change the world. Let's go do it together. Bye.
Thank you so much, Pastor Chris, for that amazing message today. We're so thankful to have you as our lead pastor. And thank you to all of you for tuning in and joining us as we talk about the home. Remember to join us today for the All Church Scavenger Hunt. And if you haven't done it yet, make sure you do it right now. Text the word Our City to 949-755-7606. And that'll get you subscribed to all of our text alerts and get you the rules and the information for the scavenger hunt. And families, go ahead and head over to the Our City Kids Instagram and join in on our weekly challenge. If you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe to this channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications so we can send you all the information about when we're going to be live and posting new content. And if you like today's message, why don't you go ahead and let us know by hitting that like button and even sharing it with a couple friends who could use this resource and this encouragement in their life. Have a great week, and remember, let's change the world together.